Antes de empezar a ver esta página, cierra los ojos y deja la respiración completamente sola. Permite que los pulmones, por sí solos, se paren si se quieren parar. Inspiren si quieren inspirar. Siente lo que sientes cuando inspiras. Siente lo que sientes cuando expiras. Abre lentamente los ojos y empieza a explorar. Buenos días a todos. Hoy es 9 de enero y el mensaje del día hoy tiene que ver con el siguiente tema. Nosotros nos levantamos cada mañana y proyectamos en nuestra pantalla de la mente a ese pequeño mequetrefe, a ese imbécil que todos tenemos en nuestra superficie. A todos nos recubre un mequetrefe. Y de hecho esa sombra de la que hablábamos ayer es ese mequetrefe, que no podemos destruir, pero podemos limpiar para poder ver a través de él. Pero bueno, nos levantamos a esa proyección que hacemos en la pantalla de nuestra mente, que lo vivimos como nuestra realidad, pero que solamente existe en nuestra mente. Y cuando meditamos, pues aprendemos a simplemente quitar la atención y quitar la importancia al mequetrefe y volver nuestra atención a la respiración, al mantra, al corazón, dependiendo de la técnica que estemos utilizando en cada momento. Y en esas condiciones, como quien dice, de laboratorio, donde estás sentado en silencio, donde no está interviniendo nada externo, es muy fácil no hacer caso al mequetrefe. Lo difícil es no hacer caso al mequetrefe cuando no estás en condiciones de laboratorio, digamos, y lo que estás es en el barullo y en el torbellino de la vida diaria y de las cosas que pasan y de lo que te dicen y de lo que te actúan. Entonces es cuando es más difícil descartar las tonterías de ese pequeño imbécil, de ese pequeño mequetrefe con cuya realidad estamos identificados. Hay mucha gente que llega a meditar 1 y 2 horas y 3 horas al día y en esas condiciones de laboratorio contacta con esa fuente que está en su interior y se cree que, bueno, y tiene esas buenas experiencias y siente su ser, etcétera, etcétera, pero luego cuando está en el torbellino diario se comporta como el peor de los mequetrefes. Incluso peor que un mequetrefe que ni siquiera medita en condiciones de laboratorio. Y con esto lo que quiero decir que no es cuestión de meditar 20 minutos o 1 hora o 2 horas por la mañana y 20 minutos o 1 hora o 2 horas por la tarde. Es cuestión de convertir esa conexión con la fuente una experiencia permanente durante todo el día. Os dejo ya con las palabras de GURURAJ ANANDA YOGI del libro Respuestas al Corazón, en la voz de Elda Hidalgo.
9 de enero. En contacto con la fuente. Reflexiona sobre esto. ¿Cuánto de todo esto estás construyendo en tu vida? ¿A qué le estás dando importancia? Te repito de nuevo cosas básicas para que las recuerdes y te tranquilices. La verdadera educación, la educación real, es desarrollar el interior del estudiante. La forma adecuada de abrir el corazón, y aquí está el secreto, es ir más allá de la mente y no dejar que la mente interfiera. En nuestras prácticas espirituales, lo que hacemos es dejar la mente a un lado y estar en contacto con la fuente que puede superar todas las discrepancias de la mente. Con las prácticas de meditación vamos más allá de los diversos recovecos de la mente y sentimos esa fuerza en nuestro interior. Lo que tenemos que aprender es cómo remodelar nuestras mentes. Eso es todo. ¿Cómo nos limpiamos interiormente? Por medio de la acción, el pensamiento y el sentimiento correcto.
Estas técnicas, aprender unas técnicas que en esas condiciones de laboratorio te permiten conectar con esa fuente es muy importante. Es de hecho una condición necesaria para poder vivir una vida plena, aunque no suficiente. Nosotros ahora en Albacete tenemos 2 retiros, el segundo y tercer fin de semana de febrero en la Sierra de Albacete, a 1 hora y media de Valencia, a 1 hora y 45 minutos de Alicante, a 2 horas de Madrid, es decir, está muy fácil de llegar desde todas esas zonas si os apetece uniros a nosotros en este retiro, que además de ser una experiencia restauradora, os enseñará unas técnicas que van a complementar este mensaje diario y que vas a complementar haciéndolas con este mensaje diario a partir de el día que empieces a hacer este mensaje, pero sobre todo para que os podáis unir al grupo en el que vamos a comenzar desde el primer día de esta aventura espiritual el próximo 21 de marzo del 2023. En nuestra web meditaresfacil.com podéis, bajo la pestaña de retiros, tenéis ahí toda la información sobre los próximos retiros, particularmente los del mes de febrero en Albacete. Pero vamos a volver un poquito ahora al mensaje del día y a ese concepto de que no es solo en la meditación, bueno, desarrollas el músculo, pero luego es en la vida diaria en la que tienes que realmente implementar ese músculo que has desarrollado en la meditación. Y tener esa capacidad de descartar a ese imbécil, a ese pequeño mequetrefe, que es la proyección de tu realidad en la pantalla de tu mente, y no tu actualidad, que es ese corazón que está palpitando momento a momento, día tras día, cada día que tienes para vivir. Pensamiento, palabra, acción y sentimiento correcto, ese es el camino para aplicar esto en tu día a día. Y como ese es el camino para aplicar esto en tu día a día, hoy de forma especial, ya que mañana el mensaje del día va a ser necesariamente corto porque estaré camino de Madrid o ya en Madrid y tengo la jornada hospitalaria que me toca mañana en el Hospital Puerta de Hierro, así que os dejo hoy para que reflexionéis un satsang de GURURAJ sobre la palabra, el pensamiento y la acción, y la necesaria integración que tenemos que encontrar de estos 3 elementos. Y esta va a ser la práctica de hoy, escuchar este satsang y aplicar esa integración de palabra, pensamiento y acción. Hoy no digas lo que no piensas, ni hagas lo que no dices, sino que procura pensar, hacer y actuar de una forma coherente. Y esa es una de las maneras en las que en el torbellino de la vida diaria aprendemos a implementar ese descartar al imbécil, que en las condiciones de laboratorio de la meditación es fácil, pero en las condiciones de la vida normal y corriente es muchísimo más difícil. Por eso el camino de los monjes pues está muy bien, pero es mucho más fácil que el camino del householder, del que sujeta una casa, de los que no somos monjes y tenemos hipotecas, familias y todo un montón de tareas que atender. Y nada más, acordaros que son solo 16 horas y es solamente un día, y os dejo ya hoy con el satsang de GURURAJ sobre pensamiento, palabra y acción.
That was thought, word and deed. I salute the divinity within you. For everyone is not only potentially, but everyone is divine. For the kingdom of heaven lies within you. So naturally you are permeated by that kingdom, which means a divinity. The whole idea of spiritual practice is, don't you drink cool drinks here? The whole idea of spiritual practices is to have the cognition and recognition of the divinity that you are. You are none separate from this universe, for the entire universe is within you, and you are the universe itself. But to find the secret of your universality, you have to do your spiritual practices. And then you will know that vastness of yourself. You're too involved in the little I. And because being so involved in the little I, you forget the big I, that you really are. If divinity is omnipresent, then every cell of your body is permeated by that omnipresence of divinity. Good. Now, new people that are here might not know that I do not prepare lectures. Normally what we do, as the other meditators of 10, 12, 14 years know, that I normally ask any question and we're talking on it. So let me hear your profound, philosophical, metasophical, psychological question. Let me cough first. Okay. Good. Carry on, please. Shamia?
Guruji, could you tell us what is the meaning of speech, thought, and action?
Ah, very good. Very, very good. You know, the American people are very verbose. They could say one sentence which they try to say in 50 sentences. So when a question comes concisely, there's greater beauty to it. Because if you know what you want to say, you can do it in a very concise manner. What is the difference between speech, word, and action? All three factors are totally interrelated, because the word brings about speech, and the speech brings about action, and also the other way around. Because action could guide your speech, and action could guide your thought as well. But now, what comes first? That is the question. It starts with thought. And where does thought originate? Thought originates only from your past experiences. Any recognition of any object or subject normally starts with thought. And that thought has its origination in your past karmas and your past sanskaras that influences your thinking processes. And by being influenced by your past experiences, your thinking processes takes a different turn altogether. 2 people or 5 people or 10 people might view an object, and yet the interpretation of the object will be different because of their past experiences. So you are governed by your past experiences. The whole idea is to clarify those past experiences. Now, what do we mean by clarification? Clarification means not to be involved in the past experiences that govern your thoughts. Past experiences has to be wiped out, and that brings one to mental clarity. Because, as I've said, so many lectures, I lecture around the world. Because past experiences are governing your life and not giving you the experience of this very moment. So you're living in the past. And then that past is projected into the future, and the present is forgotten. Where are you now? Tell me, where are you? Sitting in this hall? You're not. Because even while you're listening to a holy man, your mind is floating somewhere else. You're thinking of the next dinner, you're thinking of what dress you're going to wear tomorrow. You're thinking of the kids at home, perhaps, if you have any. And you're thinking of things which are not relevant to this moment now. Laura's thinking of the next painting she's going to do. Jeff is thinking of what lessons he's going to give to his art classes. So the mind gets divided. And it is the division that produces conflicts. Our 6'4" friend sitting over there is thinking what property he's going to sell next week. And that is how the mind works. But to have the mind in total stillness, in total concentration, will lead you to greater contemplation. And contemplation is like pouring oil from one vessel into the other without any break. That constitutes contemplation. So the relation of thought with all its forces that might be can be a very valuable factor in a person's life. It can also be very disturbing or detrimental. Now, how do we get rid of this? It's only one way: to have the proper method of meditation. And that must be personally prescribed by a true spiritual master. Otherwise, books can give you nothing. It is not only the practices that are given to you, but the spiritual force that's imparted to you by a true spiritual master. And that brings the togetherness of the mind. 12 billion cells in this 2.5-pound brain. 12 billion cells, and you're only using 1/1,000,000th of 12 billion cells. So how much concentrated are you? That you ask yourself. So, this is the background of your present thinking. And when your thinking becomes right through spiritual practices, then your actions will become right. Your actions must become right and proper, pure, without even thinking about it. It must be spontaneous. And spontaneity is the secret of proper action. And you will know for sure that your actions will always be right, automatically. Then you do not concentrate on action anymore. Because then no concentration is required. You just act. You come to a fork on the road, and there is something within you that will make you take the right turn instead of the wrong one. So, proper thinking will make you more intuitive. You step away from the analytical mind to the intuitional mind, from the left hemisphere to the right hemisphere. And the right hemisphere is connected to your spiritual self. And that spiritual self is an inner voice. The little birdie, you heard the story, huh? That automatically takes you and makes your mind take you in the right direction. So what I'm trying to say is this, that the thinking processes and the action, and of course speech connected to it, because thought is nothing else but expressed in speech. Do you know something that although you might be sitting quietly, your mind is speaking? Perhaps not vocally, but your mind is chattering away inside you all the time. Now, through spiritual practices, you stop the chatter. For what does chatter matter? Huh? So when we gain control of the chattering of the mind, our actions assume a different quality. A husband kisses his wife, or a boyfriend kisses the girlfriend, and vice versa, of course. You can't do it alone. It takes two to tango. Where does the response come from? Where does the closeness come from? It comes only totally when the mind stops chattering. At that moment, in that close embrace, you don't think I'm kissing my woman or my man. It becomes a natural flow. And in that natural flow, you forget yourself and she forgets herself. And then it becomes a flow. And in that flow, the two of you glow. And that is the way how action should be. All action in life should never be premeditated. Just let it flow. Does the river premeditate? From the start to the middle to the end? It does not. It just flows. Even over rocks and stones and boulders and driftwood and you name it. And even over the pollutions that most rivers contain, because I know of people that do those things. Why not go to the toilet to have a pee instead of in the river? So let life not be polluted by wrong thinking, which produces wrong speech, which in turn translates itself into wrong action. I'm using these simple analogies to give you the philosophy of life. And when you understand these simple, open secrets, your life will become happier. And that is the duty which I'm doing. Well, why must I travel thousands and thousands of miles to come and speak to you? Because I would like to see people's life becoming more joyous. Not pleasurable, no. Pleasure is nothing. You have pleasure today and you'll have pain tomorrow, because one balances the other. But joy is something different. I once knew a girl whose name was Joy, but unfortunately she was not really joyful. It's my fault, really, because I did not fill her. To live up to her name of joy. So therefore, she was not joyful. So, the point is this: be full of joy. And it is not difficult at all. Not at all. The spiritual path people regard to be difficult, but it is so easy, really. You put your mind to it, if you have one. No. To find real joy in life is not to put your mind to it, but to have no mind, as the Zen people say. To have no mind. Get rid of the chattering. In the mind, and then you will feel the joy that wells up in your heart, and enjoy that joy. And when you enjoy that joy and the mind is reawakened, it will transmute itself to the mind where cognition comes, and you feel and you know of that real joy that lies in your heart. Now, to feel is fine. To feel, to have emotions are mental qualities. But you cannot, as long as you have a body, excuse me, change of weather and traveling from country to country. You do catch a bit of a cold, So when you open up the heart and transmute the joyousness of the heart to the mind, then only will you have the feelings and the emotions of the joy that the heart has transmuted. And this is what is called cognition, or recognizing what is really in you. And that is how the 12 billion cells of your brain can be opened up. And when they're opened, you become more and more aware of everything around you. Now you are sitting in this room. Okay, a very simple question. How many exit signs are here in this room without looking around? Tell me. How much have you been aware? Sorry, 4, not 6. You see, to be aware. How many hair have you got on your head?
6.
I can tell you, 24,038. And if you do not believe me, start counting. You see. What I'm trying to say is through your spiritual practices, you will develop awareness And that awareness will make you appreciate life so much more. It will. Even these leaves are shaking here. Through the power of mental force. Yes, 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 yes. I beg your pardon. Mental force is a great power. But we must train ourselves to use that mental force in its proper way. It is God's gift. And the only way to use the mental force properly is to open up the heart. And what do you know about the heart? Is it just this little physical organ? I haven't got a heart at all. It's cut away. But I've left behind, or what was left behind to me, it's not the physical organ, but the love that empowered it. You see. So I am heartless, but heartful. For I've realized the fullness of the heart, or what it entails. What does your heart do for you? It only pumps blood, and gets the circulation going. That's all what it does. But if your heart is full of love, that makes the whole universe turn, revolve and rotate, and etc., etc., etc. So that is where and how far love can go. Why am I here? Just because of love, that's all. And love is the greatest impelling force. That could be directed. Therefore I say, you need personalized spiritual practices that not only gives you techniques, but the Guru Shakti, that force of love which is inspired and translated into Guru Shakti, which improves every action of your life. So simple, isn't it? Huh? So then, my beloveds, you understand that life is not only this flesh which will rot away and which termites feed upon when you get buried. but there is that eternal force within you. Eternal, remember that word. And that eternal force can be brought into your life and into practicality, into your day-to-day action, and your thoughts and your speech. Never think of, try it, not difficult. Never think of a hateful thought. That's it. Always think of a loving thought. When it comes to speech, always try and use good, loving words, accompanied by a lovely smile. Cheese. It takes more energy to frown than to smile. So why waste valuable energy? Rather impart that energy within you to others lovingly. And automatically, all your actions just improve. If you want to be loved, then first you become lovable. I said this before somewhere, I don't know where. If you are lovable, automatically you will be loved. Is there any person in this hall that would hate me? You can't. Impossible. Why? The secret is simple. Because I love you all, each and every one. And everything. And so therefore even these plants love me. Because they shake with me in agreement to the things I say. That is the power of love. And love is God. And God is love. So if you live lovingly, then you're living godly. And godliness will always go with goodness. And that is the action, Shamia. Goodness, godliness, which is none else than love itself. Oh, I think I've been carrying on a bit too long, have I? Good. Pardon. Now, here's a reminder to me. Tonight we are... thank you, dear. Did you wash your hands?
Yes, I did.
Oh, you did. Good.
Sure did.
I'm always teasing her. Now tonight, be you meditators or not, Doesn't matter. I will start meditating at 20 to 12 or so, and I want you to be in your rooms at that time and start meditating at that time. This we have done round the world and it's never failed. Now what will happen is this, that although I will be in my room meditating and you in your particular rooms meditating, you will have some kind of experience. You might see me physically, or you might feel my presence, or your room might light up, gold. Or whatever. I don't want to carry on the subject. Tomorrow morning we can always discuss some of the experiences, and I will give you explanations on it. The whole point is this, that all my meditators, although I might be thousands of miles away.
Bueno, pues con esto terminamos por hoy el mensaje del día, que ha sido especialmente largo, pero bueno, se merecía esta práctica, que no es otra que llevar a la práctica de tu día a día esa conexión con la fuente, que es de lo que trataba la práctica de hoy y trata la práctica de hoy. Integrar el pensamiento correcto generará el correcto hablar, y a su vez esto generará de una forma automática y espontánea y natural el correcto actuar. Y nada más. Que paséis un muy bonito día. Namaste.